All right, everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at Chapter 9, Lesson 4. And before we get started, you know what I'm going to ask. Do you remember the answer to this question? These questions. What is a survey? What is a tally or tally mark? What is another way of saying data? What is the difference between a tally chart and a picture graph? Okay, remember, we've covered these before, and they are in the glossary in your take-home folder, which we tore out of book one. When we finished book one, we tore out that huge chunk of pages. So you can always check that if you don't remember what these words mean, or the videos that we've already done, or the pages that we've already finished. All right, so today we're looking at Chapter 9, Lesson 4, and we're going to look at making bar graphs. And I know we don't normally say this, but this one is easy, especially if you've been able to do the other work that we've been doing online with the tally marks and the picture graphs. So our main question, our essential question is, how can I record and analyze data? This is what we've been working on. It's an important math skill. It's a very important skill in science. Scientists record data all the time. And there's a lot of data that's being recorded now with the coronavirus. Okay, they want to know who's getting sick and where they are and where they've been and so on. So we know how to do it with tally marks and with pictures. Today we're going to do it with bars. We're going to make bar graphs, which we've actually done before in science. But first, let's do a little bit of a review. It says here, how many people chose football or baseball as their favorite sport? You can pause if you need to think about it, but I'm going to give you the answer right now. It's 9. Football or baseball. So what we did was we added the number of people who said football, that's 6, and the number of people who said baseball, that's 3. 6 plus 3 is 9. And now let's quickly look at a tally chart. It says here, complete the tally chart. Use the tally chart to make a horizontal bar graph. Okay, well, let's look at the blue chart on the left, the tally chart. It says vehicle types, and there are 4 types of vehicles. There's a sedan. A sedan, if you've seen my car, that's a sedan. It's a small car. It's not a truck or anything like that. It's just a regular sized car that's got 2 or 4 doors, and it's kind of low to the ground. Under that, we have an SUV. That's what a lot of people have. It stands for Sport Utility Vehicle. It's taller, it's bigger, it holds more people. And then we have a truck and a taxi. So, what are we going to write in the total column next to the tally marks? If you need to pause and think about it, that's fine. This is not in your book. Okay? And let's take a look. 8 for the first one for sedan, 8 for SUV, 3 for truck, 5 for taxi. Now what we want to do is make a horizontal bar graph. Horizontal means that it goes sideways from left to right. This is where we get the word horizon from, where we look off into the ocean and we can see a point where the sky seems to touch the water. That's the horizon. So we're going to take these numbers from the chart on the left and make blocks and put them into the bar graph on the right. Well, for sedan, we're going to put 8 blocks in, 8 bars. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For SUV, we're going to do the same thing, 5, 6, 7, 8. For truck, we're going to put in 3. And for taxi, we're going to put in 5. It's very simple. Now, when you do this, you can just color them in. You don't have to go crazy because remember, it's not good. It's not art class. We don't waste our time drawing. If you feel like you can only put an X in there, that's fine, but just make it clear. Bar graphs are very popular because they're very easy to read. Okay, they're very easy to understand. And what type of bar graph is this? It's a horizontal bar graph, which means that it's going sideways. Okay, now let's move on. Okay, now let's take a look at another type of bar graph. Okay, this one's a little bit different. We're going to see why in a moment. First, let's read our problem. In a survey, 4 artists paint using watercolor. 5 artists paint using oil. 2 artists paint using pastel. Complete the tally chart. Use the tally chart to make a vertical bar graph. Vertical is the opposite of horizontal. It just means it goes up and down. Remember, horizontal moves from side to side, left to right. So we are looking at the chart on the left. If you don't know what pastel is, it's okay. We're focusing on the numbers. Now remember, this is not in your book, and if you want to use a piece of paper, that's fine. And you can pause if you need to think about this. I'm going to go ahead and show you what this is going to look like. So, for watercolor, how many tallies are we going to put in that box? 4, right. And what are we going to do for oil? Good, 5. And then for pastel, we're going to put 2 tallies. Good. Now we want to transfer that information. We want to say the same thing. This time we want to do it using a bar graph. So if we look at the right side, and remember this is vertical, so the information is going to go up and down, not side to side. We're going vertically this time. So in the watercolor column, we're going to put 4 boxes. In the oil column, we're going to put 5 boxes. And in the pastel column, we're going to put 2. And there we go. And it's nice to look at, and it's pretty easy to read, and it's organized. That's the really important thing. These things are organized. They're neat. People who do math and science, mathematicians and scientists, like their data to be organized. Just like when we did arrays, which was way, way back like in October. All right, now we're looking at the book at page 550. Page 549 is something that you can do on your own if you'd like. You can ask friends or family, whoever is available. Let's read the part together at the top. A bar graph uses bars to show data. To make a bar graph, color 1 box for each vote. Remember that, 1 box for each vote. And that part is usually shown to us in the, what do we call that little information box that tells us how much everything is worth? A key. Okay. Now, bar graphs can look different. So we talked about the tally. That was what we did in the first lesson. You can show as a total, right, using numbers. And then we have this type of bar graph, which goes from left to right, and we call this a horizontal bar graph. That's right. And then another way is to show a bar graph vertically, the vertical bar graph, where the information goes from the bottom up. Great. Now let's look at number 1. It says use the tally chart to make a bar graph. So you can pause it here. Let's see, and this is in your book, so you should have page 550 out. Let's see if you can complete the favorite muffin bar graph on the right. Okay, and here we go. We have 4 squares filled in because 4 people like blueberry muffins the most, 2 for strawberry, 1 for lemon, and 5 for cherry. And I have to tell you, I've never had a cherry muffin, but I'm going to try and find one today. Okay, and then look at the bottom. How are bar graphs different from picture graphs? Tell somebody who's near you right now what the difference is. And let's move on. Okay, complete the tally chart. Use the tally chart to make a bar graph. Pause this and see if you can figure all of this out. Okay, in the green boxes at the top, it's talking about the color of shirt, maybe the color shirt that everybody's wearing or their favorite shirt or something like that. For the bottom one, we're looking at left-handed or right-handed people. Okay, good luck. Okay, hopefully you have the information. Here are the answers. Okay, now let's look at the bar graph. And by the way, what type of bar graph is that at the top? Right, it's a horizontal bar graph. And each block, each bar is worth how much? It's worth 1. Good. Now, if we look at the bottom, left-handed and right-handed, which is important to me because I'm left-handed, and I know Ayla is left-handed, and I think we have another left-hander in the class. I have to think about it. Okay, pause it and then unpause it when you're ready, and here are the answers. Okay, and here's the bar graph. Okay, hopefully you have them all correct. The only mistakes that happen here are usually careless mistakes. So go slowly. Make sure you count everything twice to make sure you've got it all correct. Okay, let's move on. Okay, brain builder alert. Let's look at number 4. Remember, these are usually a little bit more challenging. Alyssa took a survey to find which juice pop flavor 15 friends like. 6 voted for cherry, 5 voted for grape, 2 voted for orange. The rest of her friends voted for lime. Oh, okay, so this one is a brain builder because they're not telling us how many people voted for lime. Pause it and think about it. Okay, let's see if you've got it figured out. Well, it's telling us that 6 and 5 and 2 people, it's giving us these numbers, and we know that the total number is 15. Well, hopefully you knew that you had to do 15 minus 6. I'm going to write it up here at the top. 15 minus 6, because there were 6 people who voted for cherry, was 9. And that 5 people voted for grape. Well, we've got 9 people left, and we'll subtract the 5 who like grape. 9 minus 5 is 4. Okay, and then 2 people voted for orange. So let's take the 2 people that voted for orange and subtract them. 4 minus 2 is 3. Ah, I just wanted to see if you're paying attention. And we've got 2 left over. And this number should be the people who like lime. Let's take a look. All right, so hopefully this is what you got. Now let's look at number 5. Luke took a survey of 18 friends to find their favorite soup. 4 voted for chicken soup. 6 voted for vegetable. The same number voted for tomato soup and noodle soup. Let's see if you've got this figured out. All right. And here's the answer. Okay, 4 for chicken, 4 for tomato, and vegetable and noodle. So hopefully you have all of these correct. And then number 6 at the bottom. Suppose each square in the favorite soup graph above was worth 2 votes. How would your bar graph change? The bars would be shorter. I didn't hide this answer. That's okay. So think about it. Look at the tomato soup one. And I'm saying that because I love tomato soup. It's my favorite. That's got 4 bars. It's got 4 blocks on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Each one is worth 1. But if the squares count for 2 each, and we skip count by 2, we'll only use 2 blocks. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. You have your homework to do. It shouldn't be very difficult. It's pages 553 and 554. Good luck, and I'll see you tomorrow. The end.